What is up, everybody? Welcome to the very first edition of Darth Sparrow's video toy reviews, and today I bring you not one but two super amazing, super ridiculously cool figures to review today. Today we have Thor and Loki 1/6 scale figures from the Hot Toys Avengers line. And let me tell you, I am super excited because I've been wanting to own these two figures for a very long time. And now that I do own them, I wanted to review them and just show you some of the features that Hot Toys puts on their figures for maybe those of you who've never seen a Hot Toys figure in person and you've been on the fence about getting one because, honestly, these come with a big, pretty hefty price tag. Most of these figures range retail about $199 to as much as $250 for some of the mid-level ones like Iron Man figures, and then they can get really up in price for the more big figures like Hulk and maybe like the Ironmonger. I think that one was 400. So anyways, today we're going to talk about this, and we are looking at the boxes for the two figures, and as you can see, the the outer cover of the figure has a very monotoned or monochromatic color scheme in the boxes, which I really think is cool. It makes the boxes look very iconic and very, I don't know, I guess you could say artsy, and actually these would be really cool to display behind or completely on a different shelf to where you keep your figures, that they would look really cool. If you go to the top of the figures, you're going to notice that they put the name in big letters on top, so it's kind of fun when you first open the shipping box that Hot Toys or Sideshow usually ships these in. That's the first thing you're going to see, and it's kind of fun. You're like, oh my god, look what I'm getting. Sorry, I'm geeking out right now. And then we're going to go back to the box. We're going to turn the boxes around to the side, and as you can see, the artwork wraps around at the side, and then they've got these neat little silver etched, and this one's gold, little circles, so obviously that looks like Mjolnir, and that one kind of looks like Loki's helmet. So if you go to the back of the box, you're going to get some fun warnings, and don't give these really expensive figures to your small children. It's kind of like a duh moment. And then we'll turn these around one more time, and obviously you'll get to see the other side with the artwork wrapping around. So if you kind of did one of these, you could get the whole picture there. And then there's the Loki one. So that's the outer cover of the box. So what we have here is the inner box. The outside that we showed you a second ago is just a slip cover that slides around these. And when you slide that off, normally the figures are inside of there, and obviously since I've had these in my collection for about a month, they're not in there anymore, but I wanted to show you what it looks like anyways. And what's really cool about, if you turn the boxes around, you are going to see that on the back they have a nice little cast and crew shown up on here, which is awesome because I think they definitely need to give credit to the people who work really hard on making these figures look amazing, and you're going to see that in just a second. So that's what the inner box looks like, and if you look on the side here, that little circle thing still carries over, so you get a nice cohesive, like, all the way around theme going through all the packaging, which is really neat, and it's one of the little cool little touches that Hot Toys throws in there. And of course you got the A on the front for Avengers. And next I am gonna show you the figures. So here we have the two figures unboxed. On the right you have Thor, as seen in the Avengers, and then of course there's Loki. The first thing you're gonna notice, or the first thing that's really gonna stick out, is the head sculpts on the Hot Toys figures. And they always do an exceptional job, and they do a really great job of recreating the facial features of the actors, the figures that they're sculpting. And I mean, clearly that definitely looks like Chris Hemsworth, and of course they almost have a perfect likeness of Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I think they did a little bit better job on this one this time. but they both look incredible. And as you go down into the costume that the figure is wearing, you're going to see that the detail definitely carries on there. The cape on these figures is cloth, and it's got a nice weight to it. As you go down to Thor's armor, you're going to see that they put the little details on the metal, and then the shirt underneath that. There's even little runes printed on the little circular areas of Thor's armor. And then as you go down to that like chainmail like shirt, it's definitely articulated and accurate. He's got the red stripes going down the side of his pants, and then we have the boots. So that's Thor, and of course Thor comes with his mighty hammer, his Mjolnir, which is his mighty weapon of choice, and then it has the inscriptions as well as the detailing on the edges there you can see. And this hammer is actually made of die-cast metal, so it's pretty solid. It's really cool that they gave it that extra little touch. You know, they could have just made it out of plastic, you know, and left it hollow, but it's actually a solid die-cast metal head on the hammer. As we go over here to Loki, Loki has his helmet with the two giant horns on it. And then he's got some amazingly detailed armor. As we go around here, if you would stop moving with the camera, there's definitely a lot of details on the shoulder armor, the wrist bracers, and if you look really closely, you can see that there's all kinds of cool little beading on the costume along the side of the vest here. It's got that cool little detail on the strap that goes across the shoulder there. And then definitely a lot going on with Loki's costume. It's very, very much almost exactly like the one in the film. The details carry all the way down to his boots, and of course Loki has the cloth cape as well. These figures normally have about 32 points of articulation, so there's a lot of ways you can move these figures. There's normally a double hinged joint in the elbows and the knees. They normally have a joint that goes rotating joint that goes across here. The hands and the wrists rotate 360 degrees. You can move them kind of in this motion back and forth. There's usually, I think, a break here where you can turn the forearm part. Of course, you have all the same kind of joint that the wrists have down at the ankles, so you can move the ankles and the feet part forward and back, as well as, like I said, the knee. And then of course you usually have a 360 joint here that'll turn the thigh a little bit, and then of course you have like a ball joint in the shoulders and the thighs. Now, one thing to mention when you're getting figures like Thor and Loki who have a lot of armor, that's going to limit a little bit the way you can move, for example, the arms. You can't quite get Thor's arm to go straight up, like he does that whole, lifting the hammer to the sky to like channel the lightning. It's kind of hard to do that. I mean, with a little bit of fuss and tweaking, you can make it close. The nice thing about the Avengers Thor is this underplating armor that he has here was really restrictive on the original Thor from the first movie because it was a solid shirt underneath the vest here. On this one, it's actually two separate shoulders, and there's no part underneath the chest here, and it just is joined by like elastic straps. So there's definitely a lot more movement on the Avengers Thor than there was in the original one. He was really limited to how you can move the arms. Loki's got the same problem because he's got the shoulder armor here and all this armor as well as the armor on the side of his arms. So it's going to kind of restrict how you can move the arms. So just be really careful. Hot Toys normally comes with an instruction sheet that shows you which way you can and can't move different limbs on the figures, and I mean they pretty much think about how you're going to want to move them in ways you shouldn't, so you don't end up breaking your $250 toy right out the box. So yeah, so that's that. And then if we continue on down, the legs move pretty freely. Like I said, these kind of pants again are going to restrict how much you move the legs out, but everything is completely well jointed, so you can recreate a lot of those really iconic poses that you saw in the movie. I just love like I said, all the detailing. I love how they make the eyes kind of glassy so they almost look real. It's just another added little detail that Hot Toys throws in there that is what, in my mind, makes them known for being at the top of their game when it comes to 12-inch or 1/6 scale figures. So there's the two figures, and next I'm going to show you some of the accessories they came with. Next we're going to be looking at the accessories of these Hot Toys figures. So I've taken Thor's hammer out of his hand, and I just wanted to show you guys up close all the detailed accuracy that this hammer has. It's got the runes on top, it's got the little designs on the sides, the little angles of the hammer, and it even has the really cool little like ribbing that the handle has, all the way down to the little leather cord on the end of it. Now, Thor comes with this, and of course, as pretty much all the Hot Toys figures do, comes with a whole slew of different interchangeable hands. You've got, you know, open palm, closed palm, fist, and then they always give you, you know, some extra wrist pegs, because if you force them a little too hard, they'll break. You know, I mean, it's not super fragile, and you got to really be, you know, trying to remove an arm incorrectly to break them. I've never broken one, but I've heard it's happened, and so in case that does happen, they usually give you an extra pair, which is really cool. Now, beyond this and his hammer, Thor didn't really come with too many accessories, because if you think about it, I mean, in the movie Thor really doesn't have accessories. He's got his hammer, and that's pretty much it. But he did come with one very cool accessory, which I've even seen sold on like eBay for a lot of money, you know, by these guys who buy these figures and just sell them for pieces. Thor came with this awesome Tesseract containment unit that you see at the end of Avengers, and this thing is super ridiculously cool. It's got all these details on it. It's even got a little Tesseract on the inside, and it's really cool because this is really great for if you want to recreate the scene at the end of Avengers. So next we're going to move on to Loki's accessories. And as you can see, right off the bat, Loki comes with two really detailed looking scepters. He comes with his long staff version and his more like short-handed one that he carries around, like you can see him carrying around when he's doing battle. And of course it's got the glowing orb inside of it that gives the scepter its power. And then when you go down to the handle part of the staff, there's all these cool little details on it. And it's neat because the longer one, actually, the staff is definitely different. The handle's longer, of course, and then it's got the details that run all the way through and around the staff. And what I like about this is if you look closely, they do a really great job of, you know, aging and weathering these things. There'll be certain parts that are darker and it looks like the metal's rubbed off in certain areas. It's kind of hard to tell in the video, but if you look real closely, you can kind of see that there. And that's what's great about Hot Toys, is the detailing and the craftsmanship goes all the way through to their accessories. Like this guy, Loki also came with his arm shackles, and what's really cool is the chain is actually metal. So it's not some cheap plastic little chain that's going to break, it's an actual metal chain. And these will actually go onto the figure's arms. You just remove the hands from the pegs and you slip these on and then put the hands back on. So super cool. And because Loki is the god of mischief and he's a trickster and he has to have something up his sleeve, he came with his two Asgardian daggers, and they're definitely very different. So one's got a little pointier diamond-shaped head on the end of it, and this one's longer. It's got the long handle there. Both really cool. They're plastic, but they've done a really good job of painting them to make them look metal, and they're kind of nice and shiny. And then, to round it off, if we want to create that scene that we were just talking about in Avengers, they even gave you the muzzle that Loki was wearing in that scene. So Hot Toys pretty much thought of every essential accessory that you would want for your Loki figure, which is super amazing, super cool. And we are going to show you one last thing and then we'll sign off. Alright guys, so there you have the review Normally when I do a written review, I rate the figure on a 1 to 5 scale, as well as the accessories. I didn't do that on the Hot Toys figures because honestly, I always give Hot Toys figures a 5 out of 5 on everything. Everything they make or produce, and especially the Avengers line, is perfect. It's detailed, it's amazing, it's accurate, it's everything you'd want out of a figure, especially when you're going to be shelling out the money that these figures cost. So yeah, 5 out of 5 on Hot Toys Loki and Thor. And so at the end of our video, I decided to pose them for you guys in their ending scene of Avengers, when Loki's being taken back home to Asgard to rot in prison for 10 to 20 or until Thor 2 comes out. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and sorry it was a little rough, but since this is my first one, I figured you guys would maybe cut me a little slack. I promise I'll get better, and we'll do some cool editing next time. But for now, that's it, signing off, and if you have any questions or you want to know where to buy Hot Toys, just go to www.sideshowcollectibles.com or sideshowtoy.com, I think it is. And of course, some of these you have to pre-order them pretty far in advance, and if you don't get a chance to do that and you still really want to figure, you could definitely always find them aftermarket on eBay. Sometimes they're a little bit more than what you pay retail for, but if you really want something, you can definitely get it on eBay. So that's it, guys. Hope to hear from you soon. Let me know what you thought of the video. And as always, for Darth Sparrow and the Geeks with Wives and Capes crew, we will see you next time, and I will catch you on the geek side.